I don't need the spotlight. I'm the producer of the show. Hey everybody, welcome to my channel. I'm Raphael and I am here to review episode 4 of The Real Housewives Who Love Talking About Things That Happened Over a Year Ago but love bringing it back this season of Beverly Hills. We start the episode off the following morning after Crystal and Kyle had just bumped heads the night before over Crystal feeling that her own feelings were being invalidated by Kyle and the rest of her wolf pack. So Crystal, she's back at the hotel with Dirty Diana and Sutton. They're having breakfast together. The rest of the women, Garcelle, Lisa, Dorits, and Erika, they're back at Kyle's house. They're also getting ready for breakfast. Kyle, she's on the phone with catering and she's like, yeah, can you get some Bloody Marys, some bloody shoes, and make this pronto, like make this like a 911 emergency. We need it ASAP. And you know Erika was sitting on that couch like triggered, like, wait a minute, 911? Are they coming for me? And speaking of trigger, Dorits, she starts off the morning by explaining how she couldn't get any sleep the night before, and she's just like, I couldn't get an ounce of sleep, not even a little bit. I just kept tossing and turning in my bed, and I even grabbed my Louis Vuitton pillow, and that didn't work either because I just kept thinking about me and Bubba's fake storyline that we came up with for this season and how I'm supposed to memorize all of these lines for 10 episodes because that's how long I'm gonna drag it out for, and it was just really difficult for me to sleep. And if I was the rest of the women, I would have been like, wait, Dorits, wait. It's 8 o'clock in the morning, and you're telling me all of this? Relax. We could talk about this like at 11, 12, maybe 1. It's 8 o'clock in the morning. I just woke up. Can I at least have a mimosa? Like, Dorits is just doing too much. And it's too early in the morning. Like, I haven't even brushed my teeth. And then Garcelle, the second producer of the show following Kyle, she starts off the conversation by saying, okay, let's talk about what happened the night before with Crystal and her feelings and everything that her and Kyle exchanged. Let's talk about it. And I'm like, damn, Garcelle, another one that can't just wake up and just, have some breakfast or something. She wakes up and she's like, all right, time to produce this show and get some ratings. I'm like, because if I was in this group, I would have been like, can we just talk about this later? I'll be too tired to talk about the drama that we just had less than probably 10 hours ago. But they all go off and they're like, no, I don't understand where Crystal is coming from. I don't get it. I don't get where these feelings are coming from. I just don't understand it. And I'm like, what is so hard to understand? I mean, Crystal painted out a pretty nice picture the last episode, and I understood what she was saying, so I'm not getting it here. I know that this group right here, not Garcelle or Sutton, but the rest of the women, they just don't want to get it because they don't want to get it. Now, if it was Erika or Lisa or Dorits explaining the same thing that Crystal said, I'm pretty sure they'll all be like, I completely understand it. 100%, I get it. I'm so sorry I made you feel that way. I get it. But because it's Crystal and she's on the opposing side, all of a sudden they're like, nope, I don't get it. Nope, I need a diagram. I need a thesis statement. I need a whole history project on your feelings. I need a whole PowerPoint on how you feel because I'm not understanding. Garcelle decides to call up Crystal on the phone, but she wants to have a private conversation with her. So she excuses herself from the group and she's like, I'll be right back. So she walks away from the group and she's sitting at the dining table, right? But far enough for the rest of the group to listen in on the conversation as Lisa and Erika, they're both like talking under their breaths or whatever. Kyle and Dorits, they're like, shh, be quiet. They're trying to eavesdrop on the conversation that Garcelle is having with Crystal. And I can't even be mad at them because I would do the same thing. But Kyle, I mean, she looked like a mummy the way she was just frozen in place trying to listen at the conversation. She was just like,
ugh, Crystal, she's talking about her robbery story again. Yes, the one that she made up. I know, it's getting so old, so tired. Yes, she's crying right now. Yeah, I know. Where's Sutton when you need her? This is just becoming too much for me. Ugh.
So the conversation that she had with Crystal, she's like, Crystal, come over. Like, let's have a conversation like about everything that happened the night before. Like, come on, I need to produce the show. Like, I'm trying to take over Kyle's spot. And Crystal is just like, I don't know. I'm not sure. I'm not sure if I'm feeling it right now. And I'm like, Crystal, please, as if you have another choice. It's either you get iced out from the group and the show itself and just get kicked off and get your diamond snatched away, or you come along and make the scene happen. Like, as if she was really going to turn it down. Like, what else are you going to do? Have breakfast with Diana and Sutton? I don't think so. So then Garcelle, she comes back and Kyle, they're all pretending like they didn't just eavesdrop on the conversation. They're like, oh, so what happened with the conversation with Crystal? Bunch of liars. And Garcelle is like, Crystal, she agreed to come over, but let's not ambush her right away. Let's ambush her after like maybe 10 minutes. And then Kyle, another producer, she's like, okay, that's enough for Crystal for now. Let's move over to Erika. So Erika, it seems like you're in a much better headspace than you were last year. You don't have any handcuffs around your wrist, so that must be a good thing. So please tell me about it. Tell me what you're feeling and speak loudly into the microphone because I'm producing this scene. So Erika, she replies to Kyle by telling her, yes, Kyle, yes. I mean, I am a different person now. I'm much more calmer and I'm much more tamed. I feel like I was a wild beast. Last year, I was just doing too much. I was lashing out on everybody because everybody was just gunning for me. I mean, I had fingers pointing at me nonstop. There was articles, blogs, everything written about me, and they all wanted to see me go down, but I will never go down. I'm never gonna go down over these victims. So then Garcelle, she tags herself in. She's like, okay, Kyle, you're done producing. Let me produce a little bit. And then she tagged her. So she jumps in and she's like, I just feel like the issue that everybody has against you is just that you have no type of feelings, compassion, or empathy when it comes to dealing with the victims. You never really want to talk about it. So Erika tells Garcelle, well, what else am I supposed to say? I mean, I'm in a legal bind right now with the victims. I can't really say too much. And I hope it's not true. Yeah, I hope it's not true. And that's as much as compassion that we're ever probably going to get out of Erika when dealing with this whole situation, by her saying that, yeah, she hopes that the whole situation is not true. I'm assuming that's a good thing towards the victim. At least that's what she made it seem. Garcelle, she tells her, finally, yes, this is what we wanted to hear out of your mouth, Erika, after all this time. This is what we wanted out of you. Erika, she doubles back and she takes it right back by saying, no. I'm not saying that the victims are 100% innocent. No, that's not what I'm saying. Absolutely not. Because I feel like they're also playing a dirty game. I feel like they already got paid off and they're just coming back for more money. And I'm like, you see, Erika, I just gave you some good advice on my last review by just staying quiet and staying underneath the radar and not saying too much. But what do? You put your foot in your mouth again by saying now her new allegation is that the victims are allegedly already paid off and they're just coming back for more and they're just being greedy with money and they just want to see Erika and Tom go down. For what? I'm not sure. So even Garcelle was confused. She was just like, well, why would they do that? If they were already allegedly paid off, why would they come back for more if they already have good money? Like, and I get what Erika is telling Garcelle when she tells her that she can't really say too much about the entire legal case because what is she gonna do? Incriminate herself in front of all these cameras? No, of course, even if the whole entire world thinks that Erika is guilty or has some type of part in this whole situation with Tom and the money and the victims, of course, Erika is going to deny. She's not gonna say in front of all these cameras like, yeah, I feel bad for them. I wish that my husband wouldn't have done X, Y, and Z because of course she's gonna have a hand in that. And what is that gonna do? Lead her in jail. So of course she's gonna continue fighting until she's 100% innocent. The only issue here is that she doesn't paint out a good picture of herself last season or this season by coming off with a bad attitude and being so defensive and cold-hearted. Of course, everybody's gonna look at you like, you know what? That cold demeanor that she has, I think she's guilty in this whole situation. That's the issue that you have, Erika. Crystal shows up and she sits down next to Garcelle to explain her side of the story and what she was feeling the night before to the group. And she starts off by saying, I just felt really triggered the night before about everything that was going on with Sutton. You know, it reminded me of everything that me and Sutton went through last year between me and Sutton. And, you know, I just felt like I was in a dangerous environment and nobody was really listening to Sutton the way nobody was listening to me last year when I said that she violated me and everybody was believing Sutton, but not me. So I just felt like I really couldn't trust any of you. And then here comes Dorits making it about herself and this alleged robbery again for the 100th time in 4 episodes. And she's just like, I just don't understand what Crystal is going on about. Everything that she is explaining to us right now is nothing compared to everything that I went through in the last couple of days, what me and Bubba and my babies went through. I just don't understand Crystal at all. And I'm just like, Dorits, enough already. We get it. You have so many emotions allegedly inside you of everything that you allegedly went through about this alleged robbery. We understand it. We get it. So what are we supposed to do? Drop our emotions and everything we feel just because you feel some type of way about what you went through? No, if anything, you're proving Crystal right by invalidating her feelings. Like, you feel some type of way, Crystal? Well, let me tell you that my problems are bigger than yours, so let's not even discuss yours. That's what you're basically doing, Dorits. I mean, at this point, you can't even breathe the wrong way around Dorits because she'll just be like, it doesn't compare to what I went through. You want some breakfast, Dorits? It doesn't compare to what I went through. You sure you don't want to go in the pool or anything? It's hot outside. It's nothing compared to what I went through. Like, that's going to be her answer to everything. Kyle. She's just like, oh, well, you know, I really want to fix things within this group and I want to fix things between you because I'm not really somebody to cause problems. And I'm like, now, Kyle. Even Garcelle had to call her out like, okay, Kyle, what you mean by fixing issues is you really mean this. You really want to stir the pot. But the real pot stirrer here was Garcelle. Garcelle took me off guard because everything was fine, right? Everything was kind of going back to normal. Everybody was just like, okay, Crystal, we understand you. Crystal was kind of okay with the group again, I think. But then Garcelle, I guess the producer hat came back on because she's like, no, this isn't going to give us the ratings by episode 5. We need drama. You know what, Crystal? Let me tell you something. I'm like, Garcelle, no, don't do it. And she threw her right underneath the bus. I mean, at this point, it was kind of like a domino effect because Garcelle starts off by saying, Crystal, I've really been wanting to say something for a while, but I've been keeping it to myself. But you know what? I really want to say it right now. And I just feel like the whole situation between you and Sutton last year, and she's referring to when Crystal questioned Sutton and said, oh, please tell me you're not that girl that sees color. Please tell me you're not that girl. So Garcelle continues on by saying, I just feel like that whole situation, that was just a huge setup. I just feel like regardless if Sutton would have said that she saw the sky and it was blue, etc., you still would have questioned her and you would have been like, please tell me you're not that girl that doesn't see color. And I'm like, Garcelle, what is this? Where is this coming from? Garcelle, I love you and all, but you are full of shit. Like, what are you talking about? If anything, your friend Sutton, she set herself up in that whole situation. We remember that just because now everybody, the audience or the majority of the audience, all of a sudden like Sutton, does not mean that we forget, or at least I forget how she was acting those first couple of episodes last season, how she was acting like a complete robo Karen. She was all out of control with her emotions, and especially to Crystal, and how she kept saying, oh, I'm not one of those people that sees color. I don't see color. I don't see color. So what does that tell you right there? That wasn't a setup. That came out of her mouth. Just because you're buddies with Sutton does not mean that you also have to be up her ass either, Garcelle. I was so disappointed. All, just to make a show happen, like, I get it, but damn, I mean, you just threw her underneath the bus. And then speaking of throwing her underneath the bus, Crystal, she throws Sutton right underneath the bus. And I'm like, what is going on here? No, we're supposed to stick together. Sheree, where you're at? The new friend of the show, where is she at to help or something? Because what is going on here? We're literally trying to break the other group apart, but here they are just breaking each other apart. Crystal goes on to say, well, honestly, there was so much more behind the scenes of that situation between me and Sutton. Sutton really said some dark things. And I'm like, I'm not sure what Crystal was trying to get out of that. Maybe she was trying to save herself from Garcelle's fire or the group questioning her anymore and trying to throw Sutton underneath the fire. You know what? Sutton, they already hate her, so let me just add more ammo to her and move the target away from me and back to her. Maybe that's what she was trying to do, but I was just so disappointed in both Garcelle and Crystal in this situation. Like, it was so uncalled for. Meanwhile, Sutton, she's having breakfast with Melania Trump. She shows up and she's just, I'm kind of sort of over Diana, sort of, just a little bit. I mean, she's just there. Again, she's just there with money. It's just kind of like a dollar sign on legs, and that's about it. And the crazy part to me is that Sutton actually invited Dirty Diana over to have breakfast with her. And I'm like, Sutton, did you not hear what this woman just called you just like less than 24 hours ago? She called you weird, crazy, and clumsy and all of that. Like, you're okay with that? And you're just over here like, oh, let's have pancakes. No, absolutely not. Like, Sutton is a better woman than I am, because I would have opened the door like, oh, hey, Diana. Oh, here's a mimosa. Oops, I spilled it in your face. I'm so sorry. Here, let me go get you another one. Oops, I spilled that on you again. Hold on, let me get a third one. Oops. Like, absolutely not. They sit down, they're having breakfast, they're talking. Sutton is telling her that she doesn't really like confrontation or yelling or anything. And I'm like, well, the La Quinta trip comes to an end, so everybody heads back home to Beverly Hills, and we head over to Dorits' house. She's there with PK, and evidently, PK has diabetes. So Dorit, she's trying to be there for him and trying to take care of him. She sits down next to him, and she's also going on how she still has anxiety. She's still dealing with a robbery, again, for the 100th time. And she goes on to say that at night, when she's trying to go to sleep and she puts the kids to bed, and she's in her bed, if somebody opens up the door, or if she hears the door opening up, that she gets triggered to what happened the night before, or the night of the robbery. And I'm just like, okay, look, I'm just not going to believe something I don't believe in. I'm trying to. I really am. It's the 4th episode. My believe-o-meter is somewhere like, this is believe and this is not believe. This is where it's at now. Like, I'm trying to have it on that side. But again, what do y'all think? Do y'all believe it? I mean, it's already been 4 episodes. Do y'all believe Dory's story or no? Yes. I mean, to me, it's just poof, a bunch of lies and fairy tales. We head over to Sutton, and she's having her couture premiere at her store with the guy that she's been trying to get over from France to help her out. He set all the mannequins up with the couture, the dresses, the outfit, everything is on display like Melissa Gorga, right? So Sutton, she shows up to the store and she's like, wait, I need to put on my gown, I need to put on my couture. So she goes and she comes back and she's wearing this red dress, and I'm looking at it like, wait a minute. Sutton, turn around for me. Yeah, no, the dress was on backwards. I'm looking at it like, what kind of mess is this? And her excuse is, oh, it's couture. And I'm like, if that's couture, you need to put that in the trash. Because you look a mess. I mean, the buttons were on backwards. The whole thing was on backwards, right? I'm surprised that she wasn't wearing her high heels the wrong way as well. I mean, how am I supposed to introduce myself? Like, hey, Sutton, I'm Raphael. Wait, am I supposed to introduce myself to the back of your head or to you? I'm not sure, because your outfit says one thing, but your face says another. I've never known Sutton to be a fashion girl, but maybe she'll prove us wrong one day, but not today. So then we head over to Melania Trump's house, and she's getting her makeup done. They're like, oh, so are you ready to go to Sutton's store? Are you ready for that? And then she goes on to say, no, I've never been to a store before. No, I've never been. I've always been allergic to dust in the stores. And I'm like, Diana, see, I was trying to like you because I was gonna like or gravitate towards your stuck up behavior or something or whatever, but now it's just coming on force. Like you never been to a store before. You mean to tell me that you never been to Target? Like, please, you know you brought some hand sanitizer one day or you ran out of soap and you had to drive to Target or maybe even Walmart or TJ Maxx. Like, you can't tell me that you've never been to a store. Like, stop it. Dorit and Kyle are on their way to the event, and as they're in the truck, Dorit tells Kyle, I texted Lisa earlier to see what she's been up to or if she's coming to the event, and she texted me, unfortunately, that her mom, Lois, had a stroke and she's gonna be spending time with her at the hospital to see what she's been up to. They don't wanna put a feeding tube down her. They wanna see what she's been up to. And I'm like, that is so unfortunate. We're getting to the part of the season already where her mom unfortunately passes away, but I'm glad that Lisa is at least spending the last bit of time with her mom. And then Kyle, of course, like Kyle, something that Kyle is going to have is the audacity to make it about herself because I mean she's trying to be relatable, but then she just ransacks the whole story and she makes it about herself and how she went through the same thing with her mom and Kim, and she starts getting emotional about it. And I'm like, can you please just be there for Lisa for a second and just talk about her for a split second? You already did it with Dorit and her alleged robbery, and now you're doing the same thing with Lisa. Like, this is just a constant pattern when Kyle just making everything about herself. Again, I get it, like you're trying to be relatable, but sometimes it's just okay to just be like, oh, okay, I'll feel for Lisa. Let's talk about her, or send her my best wishes or something. Garcelle, she shows up to the event first, I believe, wearing this green suit, I believe, and a gold necklace. She looks good. I love the suit. Then Diana, she shows up. Diana, her look was okay. It was nice. She looked pretty. And then I believe Erika, she stayed at home. I'm like, somebody's missing here. And then when they put the camera on Erika, I'm like, oh, there she is. She's at home with her two assistants. At this point, I'm assuming that her assistants are more than just her assistants. I'm assuming that he's also her lawyer. He's probably also the person that does her laundry. He does the dishes. He walks a dog. Like, he's everything wrapped up in once. And the girl, she's probably also helping him along. And she's like, no, I mean, Sutton, she sent the invitation to everybody in the group chat, but I wasn't gonna go. Like, absolutely not. She didn't even apologize to me. So you know what? Tonight I have an appointment with a vibrator. And I'm like, well, all right then. I mean, you have fun with that. Kyle starts looking at her phone and she's looking at all the cameras surrounding her house. And she's like, wait a minute, I think there's paparazzi or somebody taking pictures of my house. So you know that triggers Dorit, and Dorit is just like, no, Kyle, no, that's not paparazzi. That's not paparazzi. I think that somebody's stalking you. Somebody's watching your house. And I'm just like, Kyle and Dorit, both of you are so dramatic and I'm not buying it. Like, we all know Kyle probably told Dorit before they even got in the truck, like, okay, we're gonna hype up this scene. I'm gonna pretend that somebody's taking pictures of my house, but it's really nobody. It's just the wind, and you're gonna act dramatic for the cameras, okay? Maybe you'll win some sympathy points with that. And Dorit was probably like, okay, if anything, it was probably like an Amazon driver or a FedEx driver that they probably just deliver a package and they were just taking pictures of the confirmation that the package was actually there in front of your house. They eventually get to Sutton's event, and Dorit is looking out the window and she sees a bunch of press and a bunch of paparazzi in front of Sutton's store. And she's like, I can't believe this. I can't believe that Sutton would set me up. Like, she knows that they're gonna ask me about the robbery and about everything that happened between me and my bubba and my babies, and she has the nerves to do this. Like, she is not a true friend. Like, how dare she do this to me, knowing that I don't want to talk about this right now? And I'm just like, so you don't want to talk about it, but you're okay being filmed on a show with a bunch of cameras and a producer asking you questions in the interview, in your confessional about the whole robbery. It's not making sense, Dorit. Like, you're okay with that, but you're not okay with just one, maybe two people asking you questions about the robbery face to face at Sutton's store. Like, make it make sense. Kyle, she sees this and she's like, oh no. So they get out of the truck, right? Dorit, she makes her way around the store. She goes inside, avoiding the paparazzi and the press, right? Kyle, she's waiting for her to go in the store, and she's like, okay, she's about to go in. She's about to go in. Okay, ask me whatever. Ask me anything about the robbery. Like, she could not wait. I'm like, Kyle, come on now, have some decency. You see that your friend does not want to talk about this robbery in front of the cameras, which doesn't make sense. But, for you to do that for her, you're basically her mouthpiece. So she goes on to tell the press, oh yeah, it was crazy. It was wild. It was out of control. I mean, I tried to fight off two of the robbers. There was initially three, but I fought off one and he ran away. But so the other two stole everything. They stole the Louis Vuitton bag. They stole her toothbrush, her 90s, a pair of panties. It was crazy. They stole so much things. It was out of control. No, it was out of control. I had a bruise on my arm. It was out of control. And I'm like, Kyle, again, have some decency. No shame whatsoever. And I'm pretty sure that Sutton did not call any press or paparazzi to come to her event specifically to ask you specifically, Dorit, questions about your robbery. Like, I'm pretty sure that that's not how it works. There's a bunch of couture on display and there's a designer here. So I'm pretty sure they want to know questions about that, not, oh, let's see what's going on with Dorit. Like, I'm pretty sure that that is not how it goes. Producer 1, Kyle, and producer 2, Garcelle, they team up to plant some seeds in Sutton's head about Crystal. That way their friendship could probably crumble to pieces, or at least that's what it seemed that they wanted, because Kyle, she walks up to Sutton first at the event and she's like, well, you know, Crystal, she talked to the group earlier in La Quinta and she said that you said some really darker things in the conversation last year when both of you got into it. Sutton, she's unbothered by it. She's like, well, I don't really remember what you're talking about. I mean, whatever me and Crystal went through, I mean, that's in the past. It is what it is. We're moving forward, right? Sutton, she's not trying to give into neither Garcelle or Kyle. She's not trying to play that game. She's trying to move forward because she probably sees the BS that's coming her way. Like, both of them are trying to use me as a puppet to try to cause some drama between me and Crystal. That way, you know, we can have a storyline on the show while both of them, they keep their hands clean. That's what Kyle is known for. But now it seems that Garcelle is also going to be known for doing that as well. So then Garcelle, she sees that that's not working. So she also jumps in and she's like, I mean, Sutton, I mean, don't you think that's kind of weird that she said that about you, that you said some dark things or whatever? I mean, a true friend wouldn't do that. I mean, watch your back. I mean, that is your new friend, but watch your back. And I'm like, wow, I'm just so shocked at Garcelle. Kyle is one thing. She, you know, I expect that from her. You know, that's her type of behavior. But Garcelle, I mean, it was just so obvious this episode specifically that she's really producing and playing puppet master. And it was just so hard to see. I'm like, no, Garcelle, don't go over to the other side. Like, stay over with Sutton and Crystal. Like, what is going on here? So then Garcelle and Kyle, they sit down to have a conversation about what's going on. It seems that both of them are flustered that they didn't get what they want, the reaction that they wanted from Sutton, because Sutton, again, she's like, no, I'm unbothered by it. Like, okay, if she said that, it's fine. We're moving forward. Then Crystal, she's on the side and she's like, are both of you talking about me? Can I sit down? And they're like, yeah, come sit down. So then Crystal, this is the other issue with Crystal as well, because Crystal will clear this whole thing up easily if she would just say what these dark things that Sutton said to her last year was. But no, she continues playing games like, no, I'm not going to say it. I'm not going to say what she said. No, it's between me and Sutton. I know what she said, and that's that, and integrity this and integrity that. And I'm like, Crystal, like, how are we supposed to have your back or believe you if you're not putting it out there? And honestly, if I was Crystal, I would have turned the finger right back at Garcelle, and I would have been like, wait, so let's go back to your original comment of you saying that you think that I set your friend Sutton up by saying, oh, you're not that girl who sees colors. Let's go back to that comment, how you thought that no matter what she answered, I was still going to question her about that. Let's go back to that, because I'm still trying to figure out where Garcelle got that from, because nobody really questioned her about that. After Crystal put her foot in her mouth, we kind of moved on from that comment and we focused on what Crystal initially said about Sutton instead of what Garcelle was accusing Crystal of, but that was just completely ignored. So Crystal, she continues on by saying, no, I'm not going to say it. I'm not going to say it. I'm not going to say it. And again, that makes Crystal look bad instead of making Garcelle look bad for accusing her of something that just came out of thin air. Because again, I just don't get it. So then she jumps in and she's like, Crystal, I just feel like you opened up a can of worms, and I just feel like you need to, wait, are those can of worms like Louis Vuitton worms? I like Louis Vuitton. But anyways, yeah, you need to fess up. What did you say? Because whatever you're saying is affecting the entire group. And I'm like, again, how is this whole entire situation affecting the group? If anything, is going to affect Sutton and Crystal's relationship. Other than that, nothing's really going to change within the group. I mean, nobody was really there. Sutton's reply to this is, well, I really don't remember any dark comments that I made about anything. I mean, me and Crystal, we had an issue where we fixed it, and that's that. We have a friendship now, and we're moving forward, and that's that. I'm not sure what comment is she talking about. Kyle, she does make a good point by saying, well, what if Sutton really deep down inside, she does know what she said about those dark comments, but she doesn't want it getting out there because she knows she's probably going to be dragged all over, and the whole entire group is going to be looking at her like, ooh, Sutton, wait a minute. You crossed way too many lines with what you said that was too dark to handle that Crystal is not saying. So maybe Crystal is also looking out for Sutton because Crystal knows if she opens up her mouth, that is going to be huge trouble for Sutton coming her way. I'm just trying to figure out if Crystal accidentally threw Sutton underneath the bus because she impulsively thought of that the second that Garcelle told her, I feel like you set Sutton up, and she just came out with that like, oh, your friend said something darker than what it is. Don't accuse me of anything. Maybe that's what it was, but then again, I can also see Sutton possibly saying darker, meaner things than what she did to Crystal last season, because we all remember the first couple of episodes last season, Sutton, she was all out of control, so I wouldn't put it past her, but at the same time, Crystal, she's probably just protecting her now new friendship with Sutton because she knows that whatever it is that she's hiding from her or from the audience, audience or from the group that she knows is probably going to get Sutton in big trouble. So I'm not sure. I don't know which way to look at this. Garcelle, you're also looking suspicious in my eyes because you're coming off as Kyle number 2, the puppet master, but you're throwing your friends underneath the bus. I mean, why did you say that Crystal set Sutton up? I mean, I just don't see it. Does anybody else see what Garcelle was trying to come out with that point? I'm not understanding. Kyle, you were already looking suspicious from day one. So, I mean, that's no surprise. But, I mean, it's just unfortunate to see the relationship between Garcelle and Crystal and kind of Sutton kind of fall apart. I mean, you were supposed to be Charlie's angels. What happened? So then the event is over and we head back over to Dorits' house where she's having a one-on-one session with her therapist, Dr. Val, and she's there to help Dorit manage and cope with her feelings and her trauma that she's been feeling ever since the night of the robbery. And that was that, everybody. What did everybody think about this episode? And what do you think about the whole dynamic between Garcelle, Sutton, and Crystal? Do you think that Garcelle was wrong to ask Crystal, did you set Sutton up? I feel like you set her up. Do you see where she was coming from? I don't see it. Maybe I need to see it from a different perspective. What do you think that Crystal is holding from Sutton that is so dark? If there's anything to say, I mean, do y'all believe her? Do you think that she's just making that up to save her own ass? I'm not sure. It could go either way at this point. It's just so unfortunate that the dynamic trio is just kind of like falling apart before our eyes. But I guess we'll see what happens. Let me know what y'all thought about this entire episode down in the comments. Bye, everybody. Mwah.